Hey, I'm Sean,
I'm Ben.
And I'm Mike.
and you're listening to the Anime Triad.
All right. So we are back once again with another movie review. And we are really excited because we are going to be reviewing the newly released Dragon Ball Super Superhero. Sean, take it away.
So I'm going to start by saying that this is spoiler filled because typically these things that we review are quite old and it's rather implied. But this is spoiler filled. So if you haven't seen it, you need to go see it and then come back and watch.
Spoilers everywhere.
All spoilers.
Yeah, we're not holding back. It's been out for a week. Okay. All right. So this movie, I was quite hesitant on how it was going to perform and what my thoughts about it were going. When the first trailer dropped, there was this new CGI. It looked like a Xenoverse cutscene, and I was not really feeling the animation. After a couple of times that they put out the trailers, it was starting to look better. They did the 3D with a 2D rendering on top of it. So I was starting to get a little more okay with it. There was not a ton of marketing for this movie as much as there was for Broly. Like for Broly, you pretty much knew what was happening a month out. They waited till the very last minute to talk about who the villain was, all these other things. So this movie I've seen a couple times already. And I will say my first interaction, this is a great movie. I really enjoy this movie. The animation is different, which I feel like we can all talk about in a little bit on our thoughts further in depth. But this was a great movie. I was definitely nervous in the beginning. But man, it's really cool to see the Red Ribbon Army. Initially, I was like, oh, we're just kind of rehashing an old thing. But the way they did it, I quite enjoyed. I loved seeing how they included Android 21 or her human form. I think Vomi is the name, and how that's Dr. Gero's wife. And it really shows that Android 16 was created to be a replica of Dr. Gero's kid, and how Hedo is Dr. Gero's grandchild, and then Magenta is the son. So all that stuff's really cool. Gohan being back in the spotlight was amazing. This new form, Gohan Beast, isn't how it's actually named. Really cool callback to his Super Saiyan 2 transformation. You saw the red line go back behind his head, just like it happened when he turned Super Saiyan 2. He's wearing the gi. He's got the really tall hair. I mean, it is just, I'm usually one that hates transformations that look exactly the same, and I hate a lot of recycled stuff, but this one I was totally fine with. I really enjoyed it. The Gammas were cool. I really liked how they were superheroes and they thought they were doing the right thing. And one of them was a little more jovial than the other. I know this is about Gohan, but realistically, man, this is Piccolo's movie.
Yes.
Like Gohan plays a big part at the end, but this is a Piccolo movie, right? And you can tell that I'm pretty sure I heard somewhere that Akira Toriyama wanted this to be exclusively Piccolo, but then some of the people at Toei were like, no, you gotta at least throw Gohan in the mix, and I'm glad they did. But Gohan realistically is there for like 20% of the Piccolo movie. Really cool. I loved how he's training Pan and how he's it's funny because Gohan was talking about how bad of a dad, it's the whole meme thing that bad of a dad his dad is, but he's kind of doing the same thing to Pan. So maybe they'll explore that later. I really enjoyed the movie. The animation, I'm not a huge fan of 3D, but the way they did it was tastefully done. It's not jarring because everything else is 2D around it. It's there the whole way. There's a couple instances where I thought the 3D was under par, and actually the spot where I thought it was subpar was when it's Goku and Vegeta. I thought that was the worst time they did the CGI, and I get it. If you have a budget, put it on the characters that you're actually doing the thing for. So really cool stuff. Cell Max. It was cool to see Cell. He's my favorite villain. It's kind of like the better version of Bio Broly, like a mindless monster that's just supposed to be a recreation of an original villain. So I don't know if they meant to do that, but I kind of got those vibes from it. He's like this semi perfect Cell, like a double semi perfect Cell with the red, but he's got the wings. And you know, it was cool because it also was a rehashing of the kaiju, right? Harudegarn, like big monster that they have to fight. And so I enjoyed that. I like the callback for Piccolo growing. He's got 2 new transformations with his like potential unlocked. And some people didn't even realize that he had 2 transformations. That first time when he powers up, all of the lines go away from his arms and he's more like yellow green. And then this Piccolo orange, which is kind of funny. It's like all these different references. He's like, oh, you got to have a cool name for it. He's like, oh, I guess I would just call it Piccolo Orange. And then when Gohan is like looking for his glasses, he's like, wait, when you turn Super Saiyan, do your eyes just magically get better?
That was so good.
Joking parts of it. It is a slice. I wouldn't say it's a slice of life movie, but after we got Broly, which was just nonstop action, it was really nice to kind of take a step back, you know, be a little more grounded, but then have an amazing transformation at the end. Great animation, great graphics, great colors, all really cool. There's a lot I can talk about this movie, and I'm sure we're going to talk more. Maybe it's going to be recorded, maybe it's not, but I enjoyed this movie. It beat out the other movies that came out that weekend, which is really cool to see for an anime movie. But this is a good movie. It's hard to give it a grade, but I'm going to give it an S. I thought it was a great movie. For someone who is all about just the action, I don't think you will like it quite as much. It has the Battle of Gods kind of aspect to it, where it's a lot of just hanging around and then crazy fight at the end. But I think it's an S. It's a great movie, especially it shows us that you don't have to have a movie with Goku and Vegeta. Like, they've always been afraid to do that kind of stuff. You know, Bio Broly was a bad version of that. But this is a great way to show that we can explore the world outside of Goku and Vegeta. So I give it an S. There's a lot more we're going to talk about, but that's kind of my, in a nutshell, grading of it. Ben.
This is the best Dragon Ball movie they've ever made. That's all I'm going to say. Michael.
All right, man.
No. Listen. I went in with low expectations as well. From the standpoint of I saw spoilers dealing with the CGI, and I didn't like because they showed Gamma. They showed Gamma 2. And I was like, "Oh, it doesn't look bad, but it's not my preference." I saw Gohan CGI, not my preference. And so I went in with pretty tame expectations, thinking, okay, look past that and focus on the story. And I'll tell you right now, I'll eat my words. I'll go back to our little animation talk, and I will completely retcon everything I said. I loved the animation. It felt like a comic book come to life. And I think that's what they are going for with the superhero thing. It felt like a comic book come to life, and it was so much fun. But Sean is correct. This is Piccolo's movie. This is Piccolo's time to shine. Piccolo carried this movie on his back. At the end of the movie, 45-foot tall Namekian back.
That's right.
Man, I'll tell you what. I've said for a long time now that Piccolo has been just as much of Dragon Ball as the Saiyans. And Piccolo finally is getting his respect, and he's getting to that level that makes him on that playing field with Goku and Vegeta. Here's the thing. Gohan, we know what Gohan can do. We know Gohan has latent power. We know when it comes in, he can snap. We've seen it happen. But Piccolo has really gotten forgotten since he fused with Kami. Since that happened back in the Cell Saga, right, when Cell gets around, we don't get any more love for Piccolo. And I know there's he's in the Tournament of Power and does pretty well there. But you know what I'm saying? Like, he finally gets a power up. And he got that double power up. Like, he got a power up, and then he got his own transformation power up. And he looked like Lord Slug to me.
Yes.
And so he had that Lord Slug, that ancient Namekian look. And I think that's what Shenron did. Shenron set him free, because technically Piccolo, when they first were together and Kami split off from him, they were of the ancient Namekians. He was one of them. And so he gets this awesome power boost. Now, he'd slap around Lord Slug, because Lord Slug, we've talked about that movie, even though we lost that data. We'll have to come back for that movie one time. But Piccolo carried this movie so well, and he got awesome power up. He snuck around the Red Ribbon Army, and that was hilarious. I thought he was going to get caught the entire time, and it's such a Red Ribbon Army thing for them not to find the giant, 7-foot-tall green guy who clearly doesn't belong here. But that's funny. That was good writing. The Gammas being programmed for justice and being manipulated the way they were, and then them kind of realizing it. It's a great story. And Sean mentioned about all the little Easter eggs, like Android 21 and 16, and Hedo being Jiro's grandson. Like, that's all awesome stuff that connects the story. The beginning of the movie, they did a great job of connecting people who may not be as familiar with it, right? They did the whole... Do you remember what was it? They asked the question, do you remember the Red Ribbon Army? They kind of asked that. And it's like this little backstory reminding people.
Yeah.
Because it may have been 30 years for some people who
I love how they said, some of you who've been here long enough may remember the Red Ribbon Army.
Yeah.
That was so good.
They did a great job connecting the audience, new and old. And Sean made a great point of Broly was action the whole time. And this movie, they showed a different side of Super writing. This is different. In Super, we've never had much of this. It's all been just power up the entire Super show. Really, all Dragon Ball Z too, but still. But Sean was saying about they showed that they could do a movie without Goku and Vegeta. And it's not just that, because you can make a movie like Goku and Vegeta, but can you do it successfully? Because Bio Broly was bad. Bio Broly, I think, is probably, to me, the worst movie, one of the worst anime movies I've ever seen. I put Bio Broly below Temple of the Sea, but they're both E's, but they're terrible. But yes, but you're right. Bio Broly kind of vibes, but I didn't get Bio Broly vibes. I got the Incredibles. Because Hedo, to me, reminds me of Syndrome. Not quite evil, but misguided, because he was, because he wants to do good things. Very Incredibles kind of feel, mainly with the animation helped that too. But yeah, man. Oh my God. This movie is awesome. The soundtrack was amazing. It was amazing. It's incredible. It's so good. But yeah, man. I mean, I can't. Going back to Cell Max. I loved Cell Max. Cell Max was dope. You're right. Very Hirudegan, the big kaiju thing. But I mean, I love they use the imperfect form.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what I like about that is Hedo, you know, they tout Hedo is leaps and bounds better than Jiro. That's the whole thing in the movie, right? He's better. And what's funny is he's like, yeah, I made a better Cell in his imperfect form. And that's the vibe I got. It's like, yeah, I made him, but I didn't have to do that whole absorbed androids thing. I just made him that way. And it blew my mind. I will say though, the development leading into him getting out and that whole thing, to me, it's a little underdeveloped. The releasing of Cell Max, I would say, is really the only thing that I was like, okay, we kind of rushed the getting Cell Max out because the guy is just like runs over and does stuff that you did not think he could do. Upgraded his body, which was hilarious because the bee comes in and actually just takes him out, which is fun. So that was all fun. But Cell Max was dope. I like the fact that Gohan learned the special beam cannon, and the whole movie is built around the principle of Piccolo is worried because Gohan's not training and those other two clowns are off planet all the time. And if something goes down like it did, who's going to save the day? He didn't trust in Gohan. He didn't believe Gohan was doing anything. And Gohan actually shows, he goes, I am training some. He's doing something. He's not Goku Vegeta training, but he's not completely shirking all responsibilities. And his special beam cannon looking very much like Kamehameha Blue. It was so dope. And then Beast Mode, just, the way his hair is. So in Dragon Ball Z, when he goes Super Saiyan 2, it just looked like bad drawing of his hair being so spiky, right? Just kind of like meh. But this is like an ode to that. And it was awesome. And it's white. That very white, not silver, they want him very distinct from Ultra Instinct. But his eyes going red. Apparently Gohan goes Ishvalan whenever he loses control. But man, Chelsea and I, we went and saw it together, and we could not stop talking about this movie. I love it. I love this movie. It's my favorite movie in all of Dragon Ball. It is the new peak for me. I think it beats Broly because there's actual development that occurs with characters and stuff. Broly's excellent. No, I'm not hating on Broly at all because we love Broly. Go back and listen to our review of that. But man, this movie, this is the Gohan Beast Mode Orange Piccolo whatever ranking. This is the top Dragon Ball movie they've ever made. Ultra Instinct, whatever new bullshit ranking. Z is our... Sorry, I forgot we've not done a Dragon Ball movie in a while. So it's Z rank for me. It is above and beyond. It exceeded all of my expectations by far. And it proved me wrong in my distaste for animation style that I didn't understand yet. And now my hope is shifting that we get more movies with the same detail and care, because it really felt like there was a lot of care that was put into this movie to make sure that the dialogue was really good and that it made sense and it fit. Also, it's like 3 years after the last part of Super is over. So, anyway, Z rank, y'all. Michael.
All day, man. Let me tell you something. This must have done something crazy for you to be like, oh, dang, I was wrong. Like, for you to be able to go back and say, you know what? No, I was tripping. Like, yeah, and that's real, dude. Let me tell you something. Ever since the Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 1 came out on the PlayStation 2, and they had that 3D intro, and of course it looked bad in comparison for sure, but it's those 3D models doing Dragon Ball Z stuff. I was like, they need to do a movie like that. That was the first time that I was ever like, when the technology is ready, they're gonna do that, and it's gonna be crazy. And who was it crazy? Oh my God. every part of it for me, like the introduction, the power-ups, the fighting, the comedy. Man, when Gohan transformed, oh my god. When Piccolo transformed, oh, this is just too much. It's too much to talk about. Y'all have said a lot. Let me talk about like some little tiny things that are just easy to not think about. In this movie, Pan is 3 years old. What that means is we are 1 year away in chronologically, like in the story of Dragon Ball Z, from that ending where they go to the tournament and meet Oob. Because no, is it not 1 year? I thought she was 4.
No. She's 4.
Yeah, but you're right. Sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, I was about to say, like,
my bad.
I could have swore. Yeah, she's 4 years old when they go to the tournament and meet Oob. And it's like, oh, we're getting close. We're getting close to that. So I don't know how much content, how many seasons or arcs they're going to try to put in this like 1 year of time in Dragon Ball Super. But I really hope that we get to see some Oob. I hope that they get to that point. They show it, redo it, not redo it like a lot, just like show it to us again with the new animation and all that cool stuff. And then continue beyond it. And I'm really excited for that. I can't wait to see what they do. This movie, like, I love Piccolo, man. Piccolo has always been one of my favorite characters. And he just really got to shine. Like, we actually got to see this dude. Man, when him and that bodyguard went to go kidnap Pan, and Pan was just like, bah! She just took him out. She's like, I don't know who that is. Like, imagine being her teacher. This little girl that you're escorting because, like, you're just standing outside with her so she doesn't feel alone, and, oh, her parents are late. And then some dude comes to pick her up, and she lays him out. How do you feel if you're that teacher? You see a little girl do something like that.
Well, it's funny because after that happened, she's like, and Piccolo was like, oh, sorry, it's a training drill. Mr. Satan's granddaughter's got to be protected. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, that was a great cover. I loved that cover story. It was not lazy at all. Like, that was an actual well thought out, something I would expect from Piccolo.
Well, and it's awesome because Piccolo's like, yeah, I'm going to let them kidnap her. We're going to go through with this. So Gohan actually does his thing.
Genius. Like, this dude, he was like, you know what? I'm going to let this happen because Gohan needs to get his butt in gear. Like, Piccolo could have just gone and stopped most of this, right? And he was just like, no, Gohan needs this.
And it works.
And it works. Like, forever the amazing teacher.
Dude, how many Dragon Ball movies did Piccolo do something cool, it didn't work, and then gets knocked out? Like,
too many, honestly.
Too many is the right answer. Way too many. The plan works. He gets a power-up. He actually whoops people. And you're just going, oh.
It is nice to see Piccolo rewarded for his prowess. Because, like, I remember one of the most recent disappointments of that is when he lost to Frost. I was like, man, it was lame. Like, this dude was about to beat this, like, final form Frieza type of dude. And it's like, yeah, that's what you get for your counterpart killing all of my homies, And then it's just like, oh, poison needle, bye. It was lame. Now, granted, Vegeta's revenge and comeback on him was amazing. Loved it. But, regardless, Piccolo really got some time to shine. And I'm glad he did. Piccolo is the homie. Turning giant, yeah, okay. I don't know how I feel about the fact that he forgot he could turn giant and Krillin had to remind him. I was actually, the way that it was animated when he turned orange and he came up out of the, out of that pit, I thought he was already giant because I knew it was going to happen in this movie. I thought that was the moment. But then I saw him and I was like, oh, dang, he's not giant yet. Okay, it'll happen later.
His neck was so thick.
Woo! That boy be doing neck exercises. Oh, dang. My friend told me I was going to tell more dad jokes because I'm about to be a dad. I didn't realize it was going to happen this quickly.
It's okay. I'll edit it out.
Yeah, no, you can leave it up to him. You said okay, so this movie, one of the best movies I've ever seen, period, regardless of genre. It's a Z rank. And there are two things keeping me from inventing a whole new Z2 rank.
Well, I tried to do
it. There's two reasons I won't do it. Number one, Boo was asleep the whole time again. Get out with that. Give my homie some love. Majin Buu need to actually be awake for one of these fights. And number two, if Dr. Hedo loves superheroes so much, they missed out on a really good opportunity to have Great Saiyaman be an important part of this story. I was pretty disappointed. Like, this is supposed to be about Gohan. Gohan is the Great Saiyaman, who they recently in that canon made a movie about. And that's not going to have anything to do with this story. Okay, it didn't have to. It all worked out. It was great. Great movie. Loved it. But I feel like it could have somehow or another.
Can you just imagine Gohan getting there? I mean, the Pan thing, obviously, he can't be the Great Saiyaman when Pan's in trouble, right?
Yeah.
But can you just imagine? Because Gamma 2 was the more jovial one, right?
Yeah.
He was the joking around one, the one that sacrificed himself. But can you imagine Great Saiyaman coming up and like, what are you doing here? And then Gamma's like, I'm the best superhero. It's like, I'm the best superhero. And they just fucking go back and forth. They're like, I'm the better superhero. I'm the justice.
Yeah. No, it felt like a really missed opportunity for me. And I feel at the very least they could have referenced it at the end where like Hedo's like, thank you so much for saving us. And maybe someone accidentally presses the button on Gohan's watch and it transforms him and then is like, oh no. And then Hedo's like, you're the Great Saiyaman? Like, I don't know. And even just that would have been enough for me. But I do like, what you got?
I have a rebuttal to that.
Okay.
And my only thing is that you're right. That would be awesome. And I would be completely okay with it. But the reason I'm okay why we didn't have it is because it's been what? Like, they make the movie in Super, but he's not actually been the Great Saiyaman for like 10 years. And so he's not even been around for 10 years. But you're right.
But the point is that Hedo's a fan of superheroes, meaning that he must be a fan of Great Saiyaman. He I'm sure he knew about Great Saiyaman, you know?
Yeah.
Probably went and saw the movie 6 times, you know?
Yeah, probably. So, well, he was in jail for a little bit there, so.
Well, yeah, that's true. So, that's all I'm saying. I would have liked to see at least something of that. And Majin Buu need to be awake next time. If Majin Buu's not awake on the next movie, it gets an E. I don't care. The next movie gets an E if Majin Buu is still asleep.
But, like, here's my thing. Like, talk about power levels. Buu is not even close to what was going on in that movie.
We don't know. That's why I'm mad. Like, I mean, we
do know. We know where Buu maxes out at, and we know that he had no chance. Listen, but Buu is not even close on the spectrum of power and stuff we're talking about. Gohan's
how do we know?
Because
he's been asleep the whole time. How do we know?
That's true. Because Gohan,
he hasn't fought anyone.
You don't need to. Gohan surpassed his mystical Gohan form, which took out Super Buu, who is stronger than Majin Buu. So we know just by that hierarchy, Buu's power isn't even close, and he doesn't.
And ultimate Gohan was tied with the Gamma.
Yeah,
because when he turned Ultimate, him and Gamma won, or whoever. Yeah, Gamma won.
They were pretty much in a draw. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but here's my thing about Buu, though. Like, they teased us. You know, he was training for the Tournament of Power, got like his skinny form and like fighting Goku Blue pretty all right. Even beat him in like, you know, when ring outs are concerned, beat him. And so it's like Buu has more potential than whatever his max strength was in Z. But they just won't show it to us. And I understand it. Buu is too crazy of a power to like want to put it on a scale because there's just too much potential. You know, potentially he could be invincible, indestructible, all powerful, turn everyone into candy and eat the universe. Like this is the potential they have for Boo. But at the same time, they could say, oh no, he's a magical being and got created and just can't get any weaker or stronger. His power is just what it is based on his creation. You could kind of go either way. And they're I don't like how indecisive they're being about it. Pick one, show it to us.
I agree.
Pick one and show it to us.
In the show was a huge letdown for that. Another thing I was a little disappointed in is the lack of Go tanks we got, like legit Go tanks.
Yeah, I would have loved to see it.
It was super funny watching them be fat tanks. That's hilarious. Them messing it up because they're rusty. They're it's not going to be perfect.
Oh, who's the fat one? Trunk 10?
Is that what it is? Is it Trunkton?
I made that up just now, but I'm referencing that off of you remember in Fusion Reborn where they become the fat one and South Kai's like, well, I was waiting on Gogeta, but in this form he looks more like Veku.
Yeah. So like that would have been cool to see them, or like them go Super Saiyan and fight some more, but they were just kind of base form the whole time.
They're still weak. Man,
I mean, Fusion is still dope and fun and strong. So like, I mean, but here's the deal: Go Tanks is stronger than 18, and 18's there. Like, he's still not going to do anything, right? And I think it goes a long way in really showing, this is still like, this is how strong the Cell Max thing is. And so, it was nice seeing them as teens. Could have teased a little more, been a little fun, but. And
they didn't go Super Saiyan either.
No, they didn't.
They were like, how, like, I don't even recognize you. And then he's like, yeah, it's because Saiyans stay really small for a long time and then all of a sudden have a growth spurt.
They do. And they finally said it.
And they finally explained it. I loved that.
Yeah.
Loved it. Oh, I loved when Videl was running. She did the Arale pose when she ran. I loved it.
You mean Pan?
Yeah, Pan. Who did I say? I said Videl because she got Videl haircut. That's when Pan was running in the beginning of the movie, she did the Arale run.
Piccolo has a house now.
Yeah. Is that Boo's house? Did Boo make that for him?
No.
It looks like
it did kind of look like that, but I thought it looked like King Piccolo type of house.
It just looks, they have the same style. It's it's Toriyama. The little fist bump with Piccolo and Pan. Just that little fist
that was
bump.
Nice.
You're like,
that was nice.
Oh man, this is so many great little moments that filled in the space between the big moments without dragging on. There was never a part where it dragged on. But I'm gonna tell you the best thing the movie had going for it after Piccolo. When they go to Gohan's house, Gohan's like messing around, and they show the video, and he just loses it. And that's what it was. Like the fact that we didn't take us half an hour to get to happen. He snapped immediately and he lands. And when he lands with authority. He's going right through the front door and he goes, I want my daughter and I want her now.
It's crazy. It was nuts.
Okay. So there's one thing. They missed a beautiful opportunity. So the guy that was with Piccolo who got punched by Pan, and then also, like, when Gohan, like, where is she? And he's like, I'm sorry, she's over here. But like, really apologetic. He had a southern drawl to him. And then he had a trucker hat. But he was number 15. They should have made him 13.
Yeah.
That would have been a great kind of...
Just a little reference. Yeah. Now, I will say, there was one moment, not as good, but good, and one moment that I like better than that. One is the pun that Gohan made. He's making dad jokes now too about Super Saiyan ants.
Yeah.
And it was just so funny.
Oh my god.
It killed me.
Yeah.
And then the best part of this movie, Vegeta finally beat Goku.
The ending credit scene. Yeah.
It finally happened.
No,
and he's like, I got you. And he's so happy.
The best part of the whole movie is Beerus having a crush on Sheila.
Yes!
Oh! I loved it.
Master Beerus has a type.
I'm surprised none of you've noticed already.
And he's like, let's go get some ice cream. I'll help you.
Yo! Yeah, just so thirsty.
Oh gosh, so now it's gonna be a Broly versus Beerus to see
That's
who
right.
gets her affection.
They gonna fight over the girl. It's gonna happen. I know it.